question now if Tua Tagovailoa is going to be able to go on a short week on the road for the Dolphins as they head to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Mike McDaniel on the podium 20 minutes ago in Miami.
Was Tua able to do everything in a walkthrough that he typically would if he were fully healthy? Did you distribute Teddy Tua snaps differently than you typically would in a walkthrough?
No, so it's a tricky scenario. Luckily, it's one of the reasons why we feel so fortunate to have Teddy. But if this were like a actual real practice on a normal week, Tua would be limited, and he would be questionable for the game. For as far as walkthroughs and stuff, and just in general. This much I know about Tua. Him and I's relationship is strong. He actually called me at like 10:50 last night. And I'm like, dude, is everything okay? No, I'm just checking in on you. I'm like, all right, that's fun. And so, and just him talking to me, I can tell in his voice he's literally going to do everything he can, and in his power. So collectively, I know that he's going to do everything he can to play. So I'll know if he doesn't play that it literally was not possible. And we're just taking measures accordingly for Teddy beyond that. But happy with the way he's so far progressed, and feel very optimistic because of how he's going about it.
That's Mike McDaniel moments ago, just got off the podium in Miami, which gave Cam Wolfe a chance to get here to Dolphins. Cam, I thought it was interesting. McDaniel said they're not going to take this right up to kickoff. They're going to make a decision with some time here for Teddy to get ready.
Yeah, Andrew, I actually asked him just a few minutes ago, and he said we'd love to make that decision on Wednesday. He said that's tomorrow. He said this is not going to be a decision 5 minutes before kickoff. It's probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday morning at the latest. They have to prep a quarterback. It's not like when you're having a left tackle in, when you could say, hey, we'll make the decision right when an inactives have. You have to tell your team, your receivers, who the quarterback is. So they have Teddy Bridgewater ready if they need him to start. I thought it was interesting talking to Mike McDaniel just a few minutes ago that he mentioned it was the functionality of Tua's back and ankle injuries that could have a factor on if he plays or not. He mentioned that if he can't protect himself out there with his movement, then we have to protect him ourselves. And so we got caught up in whether this was a head and a back injury. He actually did suffer that back injury in the first quarter. There was a QB sneak where he got bent backwards. And so he said it was loosened then, now it's tight. He didn't practice Wednesday, but he did go through, or would have been limited if it was a walkthrough today. So this will be something we keep a close eye on. Tua is actually expected to talk just in a few minutes, so we'll hear more from him directly. But McDaniel, like he said, Tua definitely wants to play. He earned a lot of respect from his teammates coming back in the second half, leading them to the victory versus the Bills. And they're a much better team with Tua as their starting quarterback. So very key injury to watch going into Thursday night's game against the Bengals.
For what it's worth, Teddy Bridgewater's last start was against the Bengals, Week 15 last year for the Broncos. Cam Wolfe, thank you. Keep an eye on the quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa is not in concussion protocol. He does, however, have a legitimate back injury, an injury that has his status for Thursday Night Football very much in doubt. Here's Tua moments ago.
That's the plan, doing everything I can to get back out there. So hopefully, I can get out there and play.
Can you tell us about this phone call that you had with Mike last night? He said you called at 10:50 p.m.
Yeah, I did. Simple conversation that we had. So if you guys want to ask Mike that question, then hopefully he can tell you guys more about it.
So what are you feeling right now? What have you been doing since the Buffalo game went finals here?
I've been up here getting treatment, doing everything I can to get, as close to 100% as possible. So, yeah, that means, after all of this, staying as long as I have to until these guys have to go home. So.
it was mainly the back after the game. We also now learned that the ankle is part of the equation. How much is it the back and how much the ankle?
Yeah, I would say it was more the back than the ankle. The ankle was just, I would say, after the game soreness when my legs got caught up under whoever it was on the quarterback's knee.
And the head is completely out of the equation.
Yeah, I'm fine.
These things are always tough. Quick turnarounds off of injuries. And then Thursday night football, we have Jeff Chidilla, we have Cam Wolfe with us as the Dolphins get ready to play the Bengals in Cincinnati. Cam, you're in Miami. You were in the room for Tua and for Mike McDaniel, who had a press conference right before the quarterback. Read that room. Are they optimistic at all?
Yeah, it does seem like there is some optimism, but as of now, Tua's status for Thursday is very much in question. I watched him walking on and off the podium, and he looked like a guy dealing with a back injury, moving a little bit gingerly. And when you talk about Tua, he mentioned that the back injury is more of a factor than the ankle. The head is not a factor at all. And, you know, he mentioned the back impacts everything. It impacts your ability to twist, to hand off the ball, to throw the ball. Mike McDaniel mentioned throwing power, the ability to protect yourself. And so, you know, 3 days of rest to prepare for a Thursday night game dealing with the back injury is not ideal at all. Obviously, there's things they can do to manage the pain. The question is his functionality going to be good enough to play in this game? And look, the thing about Tua is very tough. There was a lot of questions about him early in the career with injuries, but he showed his teammates once again last week coming out of the locker room that he could play through pain. He wants to play for his team. Mike McDaniel said he threw the best pass he's ever thrown to River Craycraft, and then he also threw a 45-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle after that back injury. And so the adrenaline was running then. The adrenaline might not be running as much on Thursday, so we're anticipating a decision on Wednesday, Thursday morning at the latest, if it'll be Teddy Bridgewater or Tua starting at quarterback for the Dolphins. But I will say that Tua is a very, very much big impact of this Dolphins offense, and they would miss him if he can't play.
Teddy Bridgewater faced the Bengals his last start, actually, when he was a Bronco. That was Week 15 last year in Denver. That was against Joe Burrow. Jeff Chidilla, Joe Burrow finally got the Bengals their first win of the year this past Sunday against the Jets. How'd they get the pass game going finally?
Well, I had a chance to talk to Brian Callahan, the Bengals offensive coordinator, last week, Andrew, and he talked about just how this team is going through a bit of a learning curve this season. Last year, Burrow was able to make a lot of big plays, the guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and they're just seeing different looks now. More teams are playing coverage, that too high safety, and Burrow's had to learn a lesson that Patrick Mahomes learned last year in Kansas City when he couldn't get the ball to Tyreek Hill when he wanted to, or as much as he wanted to. Defenses will not allow that to happen now. And as Callahan said that, now you're seeing Burrow learn how to manage the game better. You're seeing them learning how to call plays better, how to go to the run more. And that's what you saw against the Jets. Now against the Dolphins, it might be a different story. There may be more opportunities there because they love blitzing, and Burrow is a 68% passer against the blitz in his career. So it could be some big plays coming there.
As the Bengals go all white, the white helmets on Thursday.